Hello, I am Captain Braggadocio, not a large pirate, just a pirate at large, speaking to you from a secret location. Welcome to today's family-friendly content hosted by the Winnipeg Fringe Theatre Festival. Whether you are watching the live stream from YouTube or Facebook, or watching the recording afterwards, we know you are going to enjoy today's lineup. Today we have storytelling with Jazz Hands Productions, and a craft activity with Sophia Luki. You're going to need a piece of paper, a pair of scissors, and some tape. We also have dance and storytelling with Color Me Sad. Have fun, stay safe, and enjoy the virtual Fringe.
I am Papase, village elder and teller of stories. A long time ago, in a faraway land, there was a castle buried deep within a forest. The castle had been there for hundreds of years, it seems, because it was covered in vines and weeds and bushes. No one knew where to find it. Most didn't even know it was there. Outside the forest, in a small village, lived a poor fisherman with his grandson. The fisherman's name was Obawandi, and his grandson was Sabuk. Sabuk had lost his mother and brother to a terrible flood that hit the village just after his birth. His father had died in a fishing accident at sea. Obawandi was in the hills with baby Sabuk when it all happened, so he became Sabuk's guardian once their spirits passed to the other side. The village was full of young people like Sabuk who had lost their parents to the great flood. Obawandi had heard stories of a castle when he was growing up, but he'd never seen it or ventured into the forest because it was said to be full of demons and forbidden. Sabuk was a curious young little boy, so as he got older, Obawandi worried that he might wander off into the forest alone someday to explore. Obawandi was much older now and couldn't go chasing after young adventurers in the forest. In order to keep Sabuk safe, Obawandi gave Sabuk a special drum. Sabuk could use his drum to call for help if he ever got lost. Sabuk loved his drum and would wear it around his neck wherever he went. He would play his drum at village festivals so everyone knew his special sound. Tat-tat-tat, just like that. Obawandi had told Sabuk that the drum was like a voice, and anyone who played on it would make a different sound on it, much the same way they would with their own voices. Whenever Sabuk felt threatened or frightened, he would play his drum, tat-tat-tat, just like that, tat-tat-tat, just like that, and away he went, and nothing would bother him. One day, when Sabuk was cleaning fish for Obawandi, he heard a loud bang and terrible screaming. Sabuk dropped his fish and ran with his drum to where the noise had come from. The noise had come from behind their hut, where Obawandi hung their fishing nets out to dry. There on the ground was Obawandi with a fishing net wrapped around him, and Sabuk's childhood friend, Janu, kneeling at his side. Obawandi had been hanging nets out to dry. He slipped on a fish, fell, and hit his head. He was dead. Sabuk began to beat his drum, tat-tat-tat, just like that. But he still felt frightened. Obawandi was his only family member left, and now he too was gone. As Sabuk beat on his drum, A bright light shot up from Obawandi's heart and landed on top of the drum. The drum began to shake. Sabuk could barely hold it in his hands. Then suddenly it stopped. When it had stopped shaking, it had turned to gold. It was still a drum, but now it was a drum made out of gold. Sabuk had never seen anything like that before, but he felt stronger and braver now. He didn't even cry. Janu was crying. Her tears soon dried, though, and when she stood up, she had a golden necklace on with golden fish charms all around it. She smiled at him and then vanished. Sabuk was shocked. He didn't know what to do, but he felt very warm and calm inside. Soon, he heard a soft voice say, "Please help me." He didn't know where it was coming from, but it was definitely Janu's voice that he heard. They used to sing a song at school together, and as her voice faded, he heard her singing the song. Will I ever find joy? Will I ever find love? Will I ever find simple glory? My heart is brave, my soul is strong. I can't bear to live so poorly. Well, neither of them would have to live poorly now, because all the gold they had would surely bring them fortune. So much bad luck had fallen on the villagers that they had all but given up hope. If Sabuk could just find Janu, they could help the villagers together. They could bring back the joy that had been there before the great flood. As night fell over the village, Sabuk laid his grandfather's body to rest in a small garden they had behind the hut. He beat on his drum and fell into a deep sleep. When he awoke, he was no longer in the village. He was in the forbidden forest. He was covered in vines and weeds and bushes and had to struggle to get untangled. He had his golden drum with him, so he felt brave. It was very dark in the forest. He couldn't tell if it was day or night. He lost all track of time. He heard howls and crackles and many other strange noises. He didn't know anything about forests, so he began to feel a little bit frightened. It was getting cold and he had no jacket or blankets with him. He sat down under a huge tree and began to beat on his drum. Soon, he began to feel warmer. The wind died down and he saw little tiny sparkles in the night air that brightened up the dark, gloomy forest. Suddenly, he heard Janu's voice say, "Please help me." Sabuk jumped up and looked around. He couldn't tell where it was coming from. Then he got an idea. He would sing the song they used to sing at school together. Will I ever find joy? Will I ever find love? As soon as he got to this part in the song, he heard Janu's voice singing with him. Will I ever find simple glory? He sang, "My heart is brave." She sang, "My soul is strong." They both sang, "I can't bear to live so poorly." They continued singing, "We don't have to now. We have some gold and the strength of 2 winds surely. Sabuk could see a bright light in the sky off in the distance. He listened to Janu's voice as she continued to sing the song, and he walked toward the light. As he got close to the light, her voice got stronger. Soon, he could see a bridge over a little pond. As he got close to the bridge, he could see a castle, but it was almost completely covered in vines and weeds and bushes. As he crossed the bridge, he could hear Janu's voice still singing the song, but it was harder to hear her. She must be trapped inside, he thought. He leaned his ear against the castle door, and he could still hear her singing. If I could just find a way inside, he thought, I could help her. He had to rescue Janu from the castle. He leaned against the door, got a good grip, and tried to pull it open. The door was much too old and heavy for him to open. He broke a huge branch off a tree and tried to wedge it between the door. But that didn't work either. The door was much too thick and old. It had been locked for hundreds of years. How could he open it with just his bare hands? Then he remembered Obawandi had said his drum was like a voice. My drum is like a voice. If I play it, she'll hear me. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should play the drum? I'll play the drum. Tat-tat-tat, just like that. Tat-tat-tat, just like that. Suddenly, the castle door began to shake, and the vines slipped off the door to reveal a window with metal bars. He would have to climb a tree to see what was beyond the window, though. It was too high up. He decided to climb the tree. As he climbed the tree, he saw that one of the branches led across the wall into the castle. If he could just balance on the branch without falling off or breaking it, he could get into the castle. As he climbed the branch, it started to break. Oh boy, he thought, if the branch breaks and I tumble to the ground, I'll never be able to help Janu. I must be careful and make it across somehow. He decided to sing the song to take his mind off the worry. Will I ever find joy? Will I ever find love? Will I ever find simple glory? My heart is brave, my soul is strong. I can't bear to live so poorly. Just as he got to the other side, the branch broke. Oh, but he was in. Oh, how would he get back out, though? It didn't matter. He just had to get Janu. He decided to beat on his drum to celebrate his successful crossing. Tat-tat-tat, just like that. Tat-tat-tat, just like that. Soon, he heard Janu's voice again. She was still singing the song. My heart is brave, my soul is strong. I can't bear to live so poorly. He followed her voice. As he got closer, the castle started to shake. It felt like it was going to crumble and tumble to the ground. And suddenly, there was a bright flash of light, and there before him was Janu, sitting in a fishing boat with Obawandi standing behind her. As Sabuk looked round, he realized they were no longer in the forbidden forest. They were back in the village. All the villagers had gathered round them. As the light faded, Obawandi took the necklace off Janu's neck, and it fell into the boat. It filled the boat with fish. There were so many fish that they spilled over the sides of the boat. Obawandi kissed them both goodbye, then vanished. Sabuk felt the drum fall from around his neck, and it was back the way it was before. Not gold, just wood. It didn't matter. He had helped Janu, and they were both safe. Now the villagers could live a happier life with such a rich catch. He and Janu had helped the villagers by working together. Now they could all move on to better days. Did we find joy? Did we find love? Did we find simple glory? We did somehow, we have it now. We don't have to live so poorly. We did somehow, we have it now. And the strength of two, you and me, wins surely.
All right. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I'm going to be doing that for the rest of the day. Ta-da-ta-ta, ta-da-ta-ta. All right, well, my name is Sophia Lukey, and today we are going to put on our set designer hats. So we are all going to be set designers today, and we are going to make our very own set designs. I hope you join in. All right. So I am a theater designer, which means that I design costumes and lights and projection and sometimes sound not very well. And I definitely design sets. So we're going to learn about what theater sets are today, and then we're going to make our very own. So what are we going to need? Let's jump right into it. That way, while I'm blabbering for the next few minutes, you'll be able to source some of these materials, or maybe your parents can source them. All we're going to need today is some tape. My tape is green because that way you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But your tape could be clear, it could be masking tape or duct tape. So mine is going to be green. Then you're going to need a few pieces of paper. You can have one piece of paper or two pieces of paper. Mine is a thicker one just because that'll help me show you what we're doing today. And then you're going to need some scissors. And because we're using scissors, what does that mean? We're going to need our parents around us to supervise us today. So we have tape, we have our paper, and we have our scissors. And optional, you can have a marker. I'm going to use a marker today just to make things really clear, but you don't have to use a marker. Okay, so the roadmap for the next little bit, about 20 minutes, we've already covered what we need. So check. We can check that off our checklist. So we already have covered what we need. The next, we're going to move into what a theater set is. And then we're going to move into building our own theater sets. And then we're going to see what our theater sets can do in different environments. So stay tuned for what that means. All right, theater design. So what comes to mind when you think of design? What is design? Is design art? Well, yeah, of course. A designer designs a lot of things. They could design t-shirts. They could design buildings like architects. They could design commercials, animators. They could design costumes like I do. There's lots of jobs that designers can have, but theater designers specifically, we design for make-believe worlds. So whenever you see a theater play, a designer has decided and made decisions and thought about, if this play is about Antarctica, what should the set look like? Should there be palm trees? Probably not. I don't think I've ever seen any palm trees in Antarctica. What if we were designing a beach show? Would we put in big mountains? Maybe. But we definitely maybe want to put in some water or have a sand castle as our theater set. Lots to think about. So a set design is basically creating the world that the play is in. So just like we said before, if we have a play about Antarctica, then our set is probably going to look a little different from this one, right? This one is really great because we've got some stairs, so we get to watch people go up and down the stairs. We have a door, but we are missing walls. Sometimes theater sets, they don't need walls. Sometimes they definitely need walls. All right, so this one is a theater set. And this one is a television set. So what's going on in this television set? What do we have here? What do you think this show is about? Well, we've got a desk. It looks like we have a man in a suit. And we've got a screen. So this might be a commercial. It might be a set for a news reporter. It might be a set for, what else could it be for? Well, this is a television set, which a designer had to design. So somebody had to make a choice. Somebody had to say, I want that specific desk. And I want this color green on the walls. And a lighting designer had to go, well, I want really, really bright lights so that everyone can see the newscaster's expressions. So a designer had to make all of those choices behind the scenes. So when we go and see a theater show, we have to keep in mind that a designer like us today, because we are set designers today, we all put our set designer hats on. We get to make choices of what we want in our own theater sets or a TV set like this one. So a theater set, instead of having cameras and monitors like we have in this picture, instead of having that, we have audience members. So they'll sit in front of the theater set and they'll watch what's going on. Pretty cool. Just like today, I have a screen in front of me, so it feels a little bit more like I'm on a television set, right? I'm currently in Edmonton or Amiskwaciwaskahagan, but you might be watching from Winnipeg. You might be watching from Antarctica. That would be pretty crazy if we had some audience members all the way in Antarctica. Hello. All right. So this is a theater set. So a theater set, like we said before, sometimes can have walls, sometimes can have doors, sometimes they can be a little bit more abstract is what we call it. And they could just be symbols, or they could just be an imagined door. So we might even mime a door. We don't actually need the physical door. So this set, this one we can clearly see it is a bedroom. So we have a desk, just like you might have in your bedroom, and we have a window, just like you might have in your bedroom as well. We have a door. Oh, Dadia said, my sister, hello, watching from Winnipeg. And then we have a bed there, and we've got a curtain to maybe suggest that there's a closet space beyond that curtain. So with theater, we get to set up our own spaces. So today, I want you to start thinking about if you were to have a theater show about your life, what would be in your theater set? Would it be a soccer field? If you really like playing soccer, that would be a really cool theater set. Or could it be maybe a castle? That would be really fun. Maybe you really like reading fairy tales, and so you would make your own theater set a fairy tale-like theater set. Or maybe it's a hockey rink. Could you imagine the actors on a hockey rink on the stage? That would be really, really cool. So I want you to start thinking about what would your theater set have? Or maybe it's your bedroom, just like this one, but maybe your walls are a different color. Another thing as set designers we think about is the time of day. So if we look at the background in this picture, we look at the background, it's blue. So we might guess, what time of day is it? Maybe it's really early in the morning, or maybe it's just starting to become nighttime. So we also get to set up time of day and weather. Maybe what we could do for this set is we could project snow. So it looks like snow is falling all over the set. That would be pretty cool. Or Ivana says a lake or trees. So in her set, she clearly likes nature. So in her set, she might have a bunch of real life trees sort of cascading over the whole set. That would be really cool. Or maybe it was a lake. We actually have maybe 2 feet of water. That would be really, really interesting. Oopsie daisies. So we've talked about a theater set. Now, how are we going to communicate our ideas? So we can tell a carpenter that's going to build our set, I would like a door. Well, he might build an 8-foot door so tall because we didn't tell him exactly what size of door. So we need to figure out a way to tell him exactly what size we want our door. The first thing we start with is we work in 2D, and we all know what 2D is. So we work on paper, or we might work on the computer, and we just do a rough sketch, what we call a rough sketch. And we might rough sketch, this is one I did, kind of looks like the front of an ancient Greek building. And you can see it's really rough, but that's just to get our ideas onto paper. Then we can start working with our director, who we work with to decide what choices and what world we want. So we think, okay, so this is this general idea of what we want, but how are we gonna show the carpenter exactly what size? Well, just like you can see on my screen that way, you can see we've added people into our 2D drawing. And this is really helpful because now we can see how big those steps are in comparison to the people. And Ingrid says, enjoying Sophia, good vibes. Oh, thank you, Ingrid. So we have our people in comparison to our big set. So now the carpenter will go, okay, I know those symbols or whatever those things are. I know that they're pretty tall. So I need to make sure I get enough supplies to build them that tall. And I have to make sure that we have enough supplies and that we've got enough money to build that. So we start in 2D. So a good idea might be, while you're thinking about your set and what you want yours to look like, a good idea might to be make your very own 2D sketch. So I'm going to draw off of what Ivana said, maybe a lake. So if I have this, I have a box, that's going to be the front of my stage. I might put some water. So I might do big cutout cardboard of water to suggest, and I might paint it with blue to suggest that we are at a lake. I might even drop something from the ceiling, maybe a big sun. So now I've already started to think about what my set is going to look like. So I've thought about a sun, and I know I want it to be near a body of water. Maybe I'll even do a boat that comes in. And that way my character can be on the boat. Just like that. This session is called, Joanne, it is called Set Design for Kids. Because that's what we're learning about today, because we have our set designer hats on. So then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to move into the land of 3D. Now, as set designers, instead of going right into building it in life size, what we do is we make miniature versions of everything first to make sure that it'll work. So on the that side, that corner, we can see a miniature version of a set. And this was a set that I designed for a play called A Dollhouse. And as you can see, we have people there, just like we did in our 2D version. We have people there, and then now we can see, based on the size of those people, how big that wall is. So that's a pretty tall wall. And so when I was chatting with the carpenter, I said, okay, it's going to be a tall wall. And he went, I have enough supplies. So that was really helpful. So seeing a miniature version of everything, the director can also go inside and start playing with the actors, and then they can start thinking about how they'll use the set. So a model is really, really helpful so that everybody gets a sense of what your set design looks like before you build it life size. And just above me, that is the life-size version of the set. So as you can see, we have the wall, and that's a real-life person in that yellow dress. So that wall is towering over her. And then we can see, based on the model, we have those two lights that are hanging, and we can see even the white trim on the wall. So a model is really helpful to show everybody this is what it's going to look like in real life. So that helps everybody, and even the actors will look at that and go, okay, so this is what I am going to be living in for the next show run. So today we are going to be making our very own models. So we're going to start with a white card model, and this is what every designer, set designer, works with or starts from. So a white card model is exactly how it sounds. It is made out of white paper, or it just doesn't have any color, because we want to think about space and we want to think about how it's going to work before we even start thinking about color. So in this one, we've got all of the colors set up. We knew that it was an orange, but before I built this set model, I built a white card model, just so that I could show the director, do we like how this feels? Do we like this space? And then once the director said, yes, then I went in and started to choose color. So we are going to start today with our own white card models. All right, so we talked a little bit about space, and we talked a little bit about how big things should be. All right. So I have a few set pieces that I've built, or model pieces. Now, I have some questions for you. If this was a desk, so this was a set desk, if this was a desk, what if the person on stage, if this was our back wall and this was our stage floor, what if the person on stage was this small? Whoa. Now, all of a sudden, the desk becomes really, really big. If our actress or actor was that small and that teeny tiny, could they even get on top of the desk? It would be pretty tough. What if our actor was this big? That probably makes a little bit more sense, because now they'll be able to use that desk. All right. So when we're designing our very own sets, we have to think about the size of us and the size of the set pieces. What if we used a chair that was this small? That's a pretty small chair for such a big desk. What if we used a chair that was this big? That probably makes a little bit more sense. So when you're thinking about your own set design, maybe it makes sense to have a really, really, really big desk. Maybe you really, really like to draw and you want your entire set to be a desk. Then it would make sense to have this big one. But if you want a realistic sized desk, then you're probably going to make your person a little bit bigger, and you're going to think about a chair that's maybe that size instead. All right, what about if we did, like we have in our bedrooms, a bed? So now, if we bring this small chair back, that makes a little bit more sense, right? Because now we have our small chair, and we've got our bed, and then a person this size probably makes sense for that space. All right. What if we don't want to do a bedroom and we don't want to do, but we want to do like what Ivana said, maybe something in the trees. So we want to suggest that maybe our set was built in trees, or is maybe built as a cabin, or maybe was a completely different time period. Like maybe we're in the medieval ages. And so it would make a lot more sense to have our set design look a little bit more like this, made out of stone and wood, and have our little door here be able to open that way, just like this. And this set piece was actually going to be for a Prairie Theater Exchange show, so right in Winnipeg. So I made this to show the director, hey, what do we think about this? All right. So I want you to keep on thinking about what you want in your set. But enough blabbering. Now it's time to move on. Let's start building. Okay. So maybe you have a piece of paper or two, and hopefully you have some scissors, and maybe kicking around your house, you have some tape. And then I'm going to be using a marker, but you don't have to use a marker. But these are the things we're going to need for this activity. So I'm going to move pretty slow. And if you want to comment in the comment section, I'll be able to slow down or speed up depending on your pace. That's what's so nice about having a live stream, is that we're actually able to, I can see all of your comments. So if you're going, Sophia, you're going way too fast, feel free to comment and I will slow right down. Okay, we are going to start with our piece of paper, just one piece of paper, and we are going to fold that twice. So we're going to first fold that hot dog way, which means the long way, like that. So now we have folded our piece of paper, hot dog way, the long way. And the next thing we're going to do, we are going to fold it again, hamburger way. So the shorter way. So I'm going to fold it just like that. And are we worried if it's not going to be perfectly folded? No. Theater is not made for perfection. There we go. So now I folded it. It sort of looks like a long greeting card, just like that. I'm going to unfold it now that I have folded it. So just like that, I'm going to unfold that. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rectangles. It's a really good start. Okay, so we have folded it lengthwise, and we have folded it hamburger way, and now we have unfolded it. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to take our scissors and we are going to cut it in half the short way, so the hamburger way. So I'm going to cut that in half, just like so. And there we go. So we'll cut that in half, and then I'm going to cut this one also in half, just like that. So now I have 2 pieces of paper. 2 pieces of paper, and you can probably guess, this is going to be our stage floor, and this is going to be our stage wall. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few pieces of tape, so maybe 4 to 6, and I'm going to get those ready, about 1 inch long. So mine is green tape, just so you can see it very clearly, and I'm going to get all of those pieces of tape ready. All right, I'm going to do maybe 4. Then I'm going to tape 2 pieces of paper to that back, right there, just like that. So it kind of looks like it has little arms. And then I'm going to do the same thing on that stage floor. And I'm making sure the sticky part is, you see that? The sticky part is facing upwards. And here the sticky part is where those hands are, right? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put another piece of tape right there. All right. The next step is I am going to attach those, I'm going to attach what we're calling our theater walls. And because we already have our pieces of tape there, it's going to be really easy to put those in place. So I put that corner right into that corner, and we've got our first theater wall. And then we're going to add our second theater wall right there. Now, I have a few extra pieces of tape just to make it a little bit more secure. But now we have our theater walls. So if this is our stage, now we have our theater walls and we have our back wall. The next thing I'm going to do is, just to make things a little easier, I'm going to draw our actor. So I'm going to draw a little person, and I'm going to cut that person out. So I just drew a little person, and I left a little room down there just so that I can fold it back. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So I have my little person, and I am just going to fold that. And now my person can stand upright. So now we have our actor. Now comes the fun part. We get to make our very own set designs. So you can, if you heard that, I just ripped a piece of paper, and I'm going to create our first set piece. And I'm feeling inspired by Ivana's comment about water. So I'm going to make a set piece that looks like a wave. So I'm adding in our first set piece, and that is going to look like a wave is about to attack our poor actor. But our show is maybe about a sea storm, or it might be about playing in a really crazy beach, maybe in Australia. But you can do a number of different set pieces. You could make second levels. We might even try and do that. So I just accordion fold some stairs. And then you could maybe even put some stairs in. You could even find things around your house. Like, what if I was to take out this wave and I was to put in this flower? That would become a really cool set too. All right. Or you could maybe even, I'm just ripping some paper. I might even just crumple this up. And then I might just throw that in there. And that kind of looks like, what does that look like? It might look like a mountain or an iceberg. We were talking about Antarctica before. So maybe this is some snow. So now that we have our white card model and we're really liking, okay, we really like that snow. We're liking where that's going. We like building snow forts. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take those set pieces out and you can give them some color. So I'll let you do that on your own. But now we can see maybe we even have an iceberg with our wave crashing down. That's a pretty chaotic theater play. I can see it happening. So we've got maybe some texture there too. Pretty awesome. So the next thing I'm going to do, I have about 1 minute left. Very quickly, we've just been having so much fun that it's just been amazing. I'm going to add in a green screen, and that way we'll be able to see our set in different places, right? So now we can see our set in the ocean or in the water, right? So that's pretty fitting for what we built for our set. There we are. So now our set is in the ocean. Pretty crazy. What if our set was in a little village like that? What if our set was in the forest? So if we're thinking about our character, this will be inspiring. We can think about our little character walking through the forest, and then maybe our set piece that has a wave doesn't make any sense anymore. So we can think about our set design with different backgrounds in different setting. Very cool. Okay, well, that is all the time we have, my friends. I hope you enjoyed learning about set design and making your first white card model. I want to thank everybody at the Winnipeg Fringe for continuing this festival and continuing the art, and the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful group of people that is working at the Fringe. They are continuing the tradition, and we thank them for that. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me at yuki.luki.design on Instagram or at Gmail, and send me a quick email if you have some questions about set design. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was so nice spending some time with you. Have a good day.
I cannot keep the feelings I'm feeling from my feet. They're coming out of my tip, tapping toes. Tapping everywhere I go. Tapping that rainbow.
Hi, my name is Mandy, and my pronouns are her and she. I love coffee, reading, and camping.
My name is Alicia. My pronouns are her and she, and I love coffee and reading and dancing.
And we have a lot of feelings.
Sure do. I love to dance my feelings.
And I love to sing my feelings. You might have other ways to express your feelings, like running, or sports, or drawing, or painting. There's so many different ways to express your feelings.
We created Color Me Sad so that we can express our feelings through music, dance, and storytelling. And we're going to share something with you today.
An excerpt from our new play called The Magic That Is Me. It's a story about a kid named Max.
And I get to play Max, and Max is so cool. So sometimes she lives with her mom, and sometimes she lives with her dad. And when she lives with her dad, she has this bedroom that is all blue. I'm serious. Pillows and blankets and dressers and everything blue. But when she's at her mom's, everything, and I mean everything, is rainbow. Seriously, so colorful.
Amazing. And our show begins with Max falling asleep at her mom's house.
I love you more every day. No matter what you do,
song always helps Max fall right to sleep, but tonight, as her eyes were blinking shut, she noticed her bedroom had turned completely black and white.
I'm not numb inside. I can see a rainbow weaving through my mind. I'm not monotone. Different colors seem to find me everywhere I go. I need vibrancy to understand, express, and to just be me. I need the color wheel. The yellow and the green help to show how I feel. I'm not happy, color me sad. Without any colors, how am I mad? Color with blue and with pink. Then I can express what I think. I need red, blue, or chartreuse. I'd even be fine with beige. Give me fuchsia and cerulean. I need some color in my space. You're not undefined. Look around and see the colors you can find. You're not monotone. You can light a room up everywhere you go. You need vibrancy, and you know you got it. It's just in your dream. Just step through the door. There is yellow, orange, and green, and so much more. I'm not happy, color me sad. Without any colors, how am I mad? Color with blue and with pink. Then I can express what I think. I need red, blue, or chartreuse. I'd even be fine with beige. Give me fuchsia and cerulean. I need some color in my space. I'm not happy, color me sad. Without any colors, how am I mad? Color with blue and with pink. Then I can express what I think. Red, blue, or chartreuse. I'd even be fine with beige. Give me fuchsia and cerulean. I need some color in my space. I need red, blue, or chartreuse. I'd even be fine with beige. Give me fuchsia and cerulean. I need some color in my space.
Then Max goes on a wild adventure through dreamland. First, she goes to an orange place where everything is really exciting. Then she goes to a beautiful blue wonderland where every dream and wish becomes a reality. But then she goes to a pink place and she gets really anxious.
But don't worry, she uses 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to calm down.
What's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Well, I guess you'll have to follow us on Instagram and YouTube to find out.
Nice. Great plug. Our handle is @ColorMeSad.
Now it's time for us to say goodbye, and there are many ways to say goodbye. My favorite way is hugs.
But hugs aren't social distant.
Oh, great. Handshakes.
Nor are handshakes.
High five.
Nope. But waves are.
Oh, perfect. I guess we'll wave goodbye today.
With a hug, handshake, wave, or high five, celebrate our time here together. With a hug, handshake, wave, or high five, say goodbye to our friends. With a hug, handshake, wave, or high five, say nice to meet you to our new friends. With a hug, handshake, wave, or high five, say goodbye to our friends. And I really like you. Just the way you are. With a hug, handshake, wave, or high five, we'll celebrate our time here together. Hug, handshake, handshake, wave, or high five. We'll say goodbye to our friends. And I really like you. Just the way you are. With a hug, handshake, wave, or high five, celebrate our time here together. With a hug, handshake, wave, or high five, we'll say goodbye to our friends.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's family-friendly content, hosted by the Winnipeg Fringe Theatre Festival. I am Captain Braggadocio, not a large pirate, just the pirate at large, hoping you had fun and you'll be back again soon. Have fun, stay safe, and enjoy the virtual Fringe.